Sairam Swami first.
Sairam to you, brother.
Thank you, and certainly it's a pleasure to be here. And
Tell me a little bit, if you would, about any particular experiences you've had with Swami.
yeah, I think Swami's got involved in my life very early in my young age when I was 6 years old. That's my first ever hearing about Swami from an elderly person. It's my great grandmother making me sit on her lap and explaining a story, saying you have to listen to this completely. And so I paid complete attention to it. That got etched in my memory, and still I've not forgotten that story. It was about her daughter, who is my grandmother's sister, having a very bad experience of losing her son because he finished his engineering, went to Tirupati to have darshan of Lord Venkateshwara, and then he went and had a bath in Pushkarni, which is a tank located in Tirupati, and just drowned in that tank. That has devastated the mother, and the mother was not able to get out of that shock. She remained without talking for 3 years, and she wasn't even aware of environment around her. And then someone guided the family, saying that there is Lord living in a place you should go and visit. Probably he would find a way for her to recover from the shock. So eventually the family listened and took her there. And then the very first day when the family visited, Swami invited them to spend time or interview them. And at that time he told her, "Tell me what you want." And then this lady was crying profusely and spoke to her in Tamil. And then she cried profusely and said that I would like to know what happened to my son because he never returned. He drowned in this, I couldn't even see him. He said he will come back and all that stuff. She explained. Then Swami said, showed his palm and then said, see here how your son drowned. And she was able to see that he had folded hands and went into the tank and disappeared and died. And then Swami explained he wanted to merge with me this way. He is with me. You don't have to worry about your son anymore. And then that brought closure for her shock. And then since then, she started talking very fluently. And she also decided to lead the rest of her life in Parthi. Very good Veena player, and Swami used to listen to her playing Veena every now and then. And that's how she spent the rest of it. That story created a tremendous impact in my mind about what Swami is all about. And then later on, I had several experiences in India.
So going back to this story, I'm just going to recap it. This is your great grandmother. You were sitting on her knee. She was telling you this story of your grandmother's sister was this lady whose son died and just when he went to Tirupati,
Right.
and in the tank he drowned.
Yeah.
And then she was not speaking at all for 3 years from the grief.
Right.
And then she went to see Sathya Sai Baba, and he held up his hand, and she saw like as if it was a TV screen or whatever
Exactly.
on his hand, the scene of the time when her son folded his hands and dunked his head in the tank and then drowned.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said that this was his wish from previous life, or this was his wish to merge with God in this way. Yeah. And then she became a resident there and a devotee immediately. Yeah. Which you can imagine that would be a pretty profound experience.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And from there, she then played Veena and stayed in Prashanti Nilayam.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what she decided because she could immediately relate because he said he wanted to merge with me. That created a profound impact for her because at that point she realized that he is God and he's telling all the truth because that connection was instant for her with Swami.
I see. So you have a long history with Swami in your family. Any other stories that come to your mind?
I think after my marriage is when I was more involved with Swami physically, and the very first trip I remember. 84 is the year in which, that's 1 year after my marriage, that's
Okay.
when we made that trip to Turkey. And those days were very early days in the ashram. So we didn't have the rooms, we didn't have all these nice facilities at that time. So we all of us went to a dome and lie down in a dome where people are sleeping next to each other with all the sheets.
Mm.
And then morning, like 3:30 or 4, the watchman will come out and he will be making noise saying that you have come here to see Swami. What are you doing here sleeping? Go and have a shower. Go and get on the line. Go for darshan. And I still remember those days that it's etched in my memory of how many people were coming and sleeping in a floor. And the very first experience was extraordinary for me because those days are really plain sand surface. There are no cycle with hall. Actually, those days darshans are very unique because you will walk through every line.
Mm.
That was fantastic because it's not too much crowd also. So very unique experience. First time when I looked at Swami, then I something made me believe that this is an extraordinary life, and having darshan for him is really making a big difference in my head. I think after that, I made it a habit to visit quite often. In 87, my wife and I went because we didn't have children. So
Okay.
we went and prayed to Swami again. Every details in our life. So we just rushed to Swami saying that we don't know what to do. So Swami again showed his Abhaya Hasta to us. And that's when he gave me Padanamaskar. Then 88, my son, we got our son. Then 89, when he was 1 year old, we took him there and had him in my lap. Then he did Abhaya Hasta again for him.
So, going a little more details, yeah, how long was it you were trying to have a child but were not having a child before that happened? And then you went to Swami in 87?
Yeah.
And that's, but were you wanting a child before
Yeah,
that?
married for 4 years. And
Okay.
obviously, in India, people will
They
begin
push
to ask
you
why
always,
you don't
yeah.
have kids.
Yeah.
And so he blessed me with that and gave us confidence. Then
Right.
Prashant was there in 88.
So
Then-
within a year, you had one son, something like that.
Yeah. Then we come to US, and then when we were living in US, and then in a casual conversation, my wife finds out with talking to one of her friends that there is a Sai Center in Clearwater, which is like 15 minutes away from our house.
Mhm.
It was a big eye opener for us. Oh, here's Swami, so at least we can go there and spend some time. And then next to Sunday onwards, we started visiting that Clearwater Center. And then one day, one of the devotees asked me, saying, "Hey, you don't sing any bhajans or something like that?"
Mhm.
And then I say, "No, I'm not a singer." So then, no, don't do like that. Swami is only focused on how devoted you are. You have to go and do some practice of singing some simple bhajans. And I'm telling you, you are going to learn how to sing bhajans. And I'm a one who would take every word of every devotee coming as that there is some instruction coming from Swami. And I took it very seriously, went back, rigorous practice. That time onwards, every bhajan, before I even sing in the presence of Swami in the center, I will practice it somewhere between 50 to 100 times. I started singing bhajans in 2005 until now that every time I go to center, I sing bhajans. And then another incident happened, which is what mentioning here, is that I kept on kind of doing services in the organization that eventually became president of the center. And that time, I'm very particular about rendering bhajans. You know how you feel very connected with Swami, but at the same time, you feel that you have to do the bhajans on special days like Purnima and the Swami's birthday and all that stuff. And then eventually, one fine Guru Purnima day, And then I'm waiting for my opportunity to sing a bhajan. And I have a bhajan that specifically marked that I was going to sing on that day. And everybody starts singing one after another. Next thing I know is the Aarathi started. Was kind of completely devastated on that day, saying, for some reason, Swami is not accepting a bhajan from me on a special day, which is actually the day that we pray to Guru. And I came back a little bit in tears back home. And then at home, I kind of praying to Swami what went wrong and all that. And my wife also asked me why you are so sad. And then I said, this is what has happened. He said, go back to Swami and pray to him. He will give you the answer. I got the answer the next day. One of the devotees from the center called me and said that I would like you to come and join. We are removing all the decorations of Swami today. Can you come and sing this specific bhajan? She asked me the very same bhajan that I was planning to sing the previous day. And I was more in tears on that day because Swami taught me an important lesson. One is, you're not singing to the audience, you're singing to me. So come and sing in front of me with all the devotion. That's the greatest lesson I've learned on that day. And second thing is how Swami make a devotee ask me to sing the very same bhajan I was planning to sing the previous day. That shows the Swami is telling me in different forms, saying that don't forget me, to always remember me. I am God. I'm watching all of your actions.
And that his plan for you is always there, even when you don't see it. Jai Sadhguru, brother.
Thank you.
Kashi, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. Sorry.
Jai Sadhguru.